Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Daily 5. I'm Leslie Jouflas. My website is Trading Live Online. And thank you, StockCharts, once again for inviting me back. I really enjoy doing these segments. We have 10 minutes to present 5 charts. Sometimes I cheat, like today, with an extra chart. But today, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The indexes are starting down. I'm going to show you some patterns that have preceded this down move, and I think we're going to have some more down move even after a few rallies to come. And I'm going to follow up. This is the third follow up with the triple Q charts, and then we're going to look at the S&P 500, the butterfly sell patterns, and also, we're going to just take a quick look at Tesla today and also at patterns that completed on that. So let's get right to the charts. So here is the chart. These are the dates back here, April 6th, April 27th, and now today, May 11th, that I've been covering this particular pattern in the triple Qs. I also want to mention that, we focus a lot as traders on learning the technicals and maybe learning specific patterns. I use pattern recognition in my trading, which is a strong tool for trading. However, just as much emphasis, if not more, really needs to be placed on learning your personal psychology in trading and also general psychology of the overall market participants. This is really where traders can learn to excel and, more importantly, have awareness when things are not going well. And that happens in trading. I've been in the markets for a long time, over 20 years, and I've had my share of ups and downs in the markets for sure. And understanding my own psychological approach with the markets when things are going well, not going well, tells me when I need to course correct, take a break, whatever. But so make sure that you're spending time also learning the psychology of trading. It's really going to be a strong tool for you. So let's talk again about this pattern. This is a Gartley Sell Pattern. I talked about in these earlier episodes that there was actually, this is a sell pattern, that there was strength to the upside in this pattern. And I talked about those warning signs, but also this pattern never got past where these highs were. So let's go and take a look at the next chart. And right here, my YouTube channel, you can find more information also on what I covered with that. But here's the current chart of the Q. So we can see looking up here, excuse me, I have lots of frogs in my throat today. We can see looking up here that right up around this pattern completion, this ABCD sell pattern, the market with this strength just sort of stalled out and it started to turn. There were signs in here where it was turning from strength to weakness, and now it has rolled over to the downside. So we can see from a technical point, we can see that there were some small gaps that started to happen here to the downside and more gaps down here. I put the retracement on from this low to high, sort of stalled out at this 0.382 retracement. And today we've had a fairly good sized gap to the downside. So again, talking about the mindset of traders, again, this is the sell pattern. So for me, I know there's strength here, but I want to watch for signs of weakness to be able to enter a short position into a pattern like this. So you have to have the mindset. This is a contrarian type of a setup. So lots of things have been bullish out there. So you have to be able to sort of put all those things aside and just learn to watch for your cues, watch for your entry points, and then execute your trades. We also saw weakness here on the RSI, and we can see the RSI made a high, right above here, and then started to make divergences. and then the MACD as well. So there's some good technical tools for us to be using as well. So make sure to go back and look at those other episodes, and this will all come together for you, I hope, and be a really good learning tool. Okay, so let's move on to the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, this is a chart that I have been using, well, all the way back into 2020 and following these parallel channel lines up where we had a move outside of the upper trend line, retest of it recently, another retest, a move to new highs, and now we're back down below this upper trend line. So we've had a little over 100-point move down from the recent all-time highs that the S&P made. But again, I believe we're going to be looking at some more downside correction. This center line here on the S&P 500, this is probably going to be, one of the first areas that we see. I think we may have even seen it this morning. Whether we find, real support around here or not remains to be seen. But I do believe that we're going to be getting down at least to this lower trend line. Then I have another trend line drawn below that using these lows that we may also see. There was a breakout area, 3970-ish was the price level in the S&P. And if this is a strong correction, then I think we might see a retest of that area as well. The RSI's turned to the downside. MACD is showing some weakness here, not quite on the negative side, but we have more downside, I believe, to go on both of these indicators. So here is the pattern, the S&P 500. This is looking at an intraday chart on the S&P, and I combine intraday charts of all different time frames with the longer time periods, daily, weekly, etc. Now, the butterfly sell pattern is a true contrarian pattern because you can see the market rising, coming to new all-time highs. This butterfly pattern over here got a fairly good retracement of this pattern. Then it formed another butterfly cell pattern that completed at the last all-time high. And we had some stalling of price there as well. And then now we can see we've had a strong turn. I just updated this chart this morning, but again, I think we're even lower now than this point here. So I'm sorry, I don't have it updated to the minute of that. But this is an example of why the butterfly pattern is called a reversal pattern and is a true contrarian pattern. It doesn't always get this type of explosive response. No pattern does, but this has the potential for these types of explosive moves. And this pattern tends to show up at market turning points. And we often see a succession of these patterns, like I'm showing you as an example on this particular chart. So I'm going to be watching for reactions to the upside, and I think we'll see a bit of a buy the dip mentality that's going to be pushing some of those rallies up. But I think that these all-time highs here are going to be the resistance area for a while. So the VIX has been a very helpful technical tool. Back in March 2020, it was noticeable that the VIX was making divergences. This is a contrarian or inverse index where when the VIX rises, the market's declining. When the VIX is declining, the market is rising, vice versa. So the last several days, you can see here that the VIX was not making new lows as the market climbed up to those new highs. It's not a great timing tool, but it's a very good tool to keep an eye on to tell you that there might be some underlying either strength or weakness. And for me, using specific patterns that are telling me that it's a buy pattern or a sell pattern, then this can be a strong tool in conjunction with the pattern recognition that I use. So you might want to, just keep an eye on the VIX. I'm expecting the VIX to kind of get up to probably some higher levels up here with this move to the downside. Tesla, this was covered in my weekly market setups. Please come, sign up for that. It's only $29 a month, and we cover these patterns, give you a lot of technical tools and mindset things that I've been talking about. But Tesla here had a pattern of a Gartley Sell Pattern up here that completed back in late March, early April. So Tesla, was not following the market to new highs. And then on last week's market setups, I had mentioned that it was just hanging on to this trend line by like its fingers. I pictured Wile E. Coyote just sort of hanging there in midair before he really dropped, and had mentioned that if we broke this trend line, Tesla broke this price here, that we'd be seeing more than likely lower prices, probably at least down to around the 786 to 886, maybe even a retest down a little bit lower where this 1.0 is showing. So I would definitely be expecting more downside as well in Tesla as the market goes through its correction. Well, that is it for me today. Those are my charts. And here's where you can find me. Here's my website. Join me weekly for the weekly market setups. And here is a great book if you want to learn more about pattern recognition. Here's my email. Find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and here's my YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining me, and I will see you on the next edition of your Daily 5.